Senator Joe Manchin is working to help Republicans cut Social Security. Now, in an interview with Fox Business, conducted at, of all places, Davos, the place where the super wealthy elite gather to talk about how they can keep being more wealthy, I guess. Manchin claimed that, quote, we have a debt problem. And in order to solve that debt problem, we should work together on solutions. Okay, well, what solutions are we talking about? Are we talking about taxing the rich? Are we talking about reducing military spending? Are we talking about, ending subsidies for oil and coal, fossil fuels? Oh, no, of course not. It's Joe Manchin. He then singled out during this interview Social Security. Now, Social Security does not add a penny to the debt. It doesn't add to deficits. It's already paid for. The program, look, for the program, it does not borrow money from the government. The government does not borrow money to pay for Social Security. We pay for it our entire working lives. And then when we retire, we get those benefits back. Now, look, I shouldn't have to explain it to you. You already know how it works. Joe Manchin also knows how it works. Republicans know how it works. But they have banked on the idea that you don't, because they have been muddying the water on this for decades. They keep drumming up this scare of Social Security, it's going bankrupt, it's running out of money, we've got a debt problem in this country, and they're trying to conflate the two different things that don't have anything to do with each other. Now, that said, they both don't have anything to do with each other, but can both be solved by doing something similar, and that's taxing wealthy people. For one, when it comes to Social Security funding, there's an issue. Eventually, it will not be able to pay the full amount of benefits that people have earned, right? So now, the way to solve that issue is to eliminate the cap on taxable earnings. So how it works is that I believe it's somewhere around $147,000 if you have paid in to Social Security from your earnings. Once you get to that cap, you no longer have to pay anymore. Rich people, the wealthy millionaires, billionaires, get to a point where they don't have to pay anymore into Social Security. And yet they still get to take out Social Security when they retire. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Again, it works. It's the reason that Social Security works so well is because it's a universal program. But why does that cap exist? It shouldn't. Eliminate the cap. Wealthy people will continue to pay into the system, and therefore the system remains 100% solvent till the end of time. That's it. Now, the second issue, debt, the national debt, that's an issue that can also be solved by making sure that the wealthy pay their fair share. Right now, millionaires and billionaires don't. That said, is there a spending problem? Yes, I would agree. The United States has a spending problem. We're spending so much money on giving millionaires and billionaires tax breaks, subsidies. Oil companies, defense contractors, billions and billions and billions of dollars in giveaways. There's always unlimited money for corporations, but yet never enough money for education and healthcare. Isn't that weird how that works out? How about we stop spending so much money on corporations and the rich, and we won't have this debt? I know, crazy, right? Now, that said, Joe Manchin, he's a recipient of some of this money because he is a coal baron, after all. And so you don't want to do that. And he gets money from these giant corporations in the form of campaign contributions. Now, what he wants to do instead of do these common sense issues, by the way, also, as one of you points out on Facebook, increasing minimum wage, ensuring that people make more money, you can increase that tax base for the middle class, because now you're bringing people into the middle class and they can afford to pay more taxes. That also makes sense. It's a sensible thing. Raise wages for people, especially in the light of inflation, and you're able to, increase that tax base. It makes sense, right? But again, Manchin doesn't want to do that. Manchin, at the end of the day, wants to work with Republicans to cut Social Security benefits because he agrees with them that they're too generous. These entitlements. People feel like they're entitled to a retirement. No. I don't think they're entitled to an entitlement. They should work harder. Now, of course, he denies that. Oh no, what are you talking about? I don't want to actually privatize Social Security. Remember, that's what Republicans have openly said. Yeah, we're going to privatize Social Security. That's what we want to do, and we want to cut it and then eventually privatize it. Manchin denies it, but what do you think happens after you weaken a federal program? We've seen this movie before. Weaken federal programs and then privatize them. That's what they do. It's so they can get access to all of that money. The reason they want to privatize it is so that you can put it on the stock market. Imagine having your retirement, and not the supplemental retirement, which some people have, IRAs and things like that, investments in the stock market. But imagine your only retirement stuck on the stock market, allowing other people to use that money to gamble. That's what's going on here. They want to use your money, your retirement, to make returns on investment for them. Now, there are some investors, of course, that do have a fiduciary responsibility to the investor, right? The person whose money belongs to, that would be you. But at the same time, you still don't want your retirement, your nest, to be stuck in the stock market, which is volatile. That's what the whole point of Social Security is, to make sure that you have this stable pot of money that you get so that you can live with some sort of dignity. That said, Social Security is something that Republicans and even conservative Democrats would like to get rid of, or privatize, or cut. So now, Manchin, along with Senator Mitt Romney, have decided that they were going to push a bipartisan rescue committee. And in this rescue committee, they would only give the panel 180 days to devise legislation that restores solvency and otherwise improves each. When we're talking about improvement, when it comes to Washington speak, improvement basically means cutting benefits. The bills produced by the bipartisan committees would then be placed on an expedited path to floor votes in both chambers with no amendments allowed. Can't change it. Nope, gotta go. Expedited. Manchin and Romney's legislation, known as the Trust Act, which is hilarious, is explicitly modeled after the infamous Simpson-Bowles Commission that recommended deep cuts to Social Security back in 2011. So let it be noted, by the way, that this so-called Trust Act and all the attempts to, cut Social Security are rejected immediately by analysts and advocates. They say that Social Security is not a financial crisis, nor does it need rescuing. The only thing you do is get rid of that cap, and that's it. A very, very simple fix. But of course, as it affects billionaires and millionaires, can't do it. They don't want to do it. So, the backlash, of course, for this was swift. As Social Security Works tweeted Wednesday in response to Manchin, quote, "Hell no to even a single penny of cuts to Social Security's earned benefits." hell no to fast-track commissions designed to cut benefits behind closed doors. Alex Lawson, director of Social Security Works, told Common Dreams that President Biden should, quote, reiterate his commitment to not only signing a clean debt limit increase, and specifically rule out a closed-door commission designed to cut Social Security. Manchin is providing cover for Republican attacks on Social Security and Medicare. Democrats must stand with President Biden in his calls for a clean debt limit, debt ceiling increase, and an end to Republican attacks on earned benefits. MAGA extremists plan to use the national debt they exacerbated with tax breaks for billionaires, profiteering corporations, as an excuse to gut Social Security and Medicare. And finally, Liz Zelnick, director of the Economic Security and Corporate Power Program at Accountable.us, said in a statement Thursday that whether or not the nation suffers a default crisis that could crush jobs is entirely up to MAGA extremists in Congress. Well, I would also say that it's kind of up to Democrats as well. But let me just state that, again, they're using the debt limit crisis, which, by the way, today we hit the debt ceiling, right? Now, of course, Congress can and will raise the debt ceiling every single time. There's no way that, anybody will allow a default. So, look, the whole thing's theater, okay? If the country defaults, and here's why they'll never let the country default. Their stock portfolios would crash. What do you think Congress values more than anything? Their own investments. They'll never do anything that would allow them to lose significant amounts of money. That's what default would do. It would, crash the economy. It would cause pain for millions and millions of Americans. They don't care about that. What they care about, stock portfolios and corporations and their corporate donations. So that'll never happen. The whole thing is theater, right? That said, what they're doing is Republicans are trying to use that as a way to scare people into supporting cuts to Social Security. That's it. The whole debt limit fight is stupid. It's theater. But they use that theater to get their own demands. Now, so far, the White House has said no to Social Security cuts. That's good. That said, I am concerned that there are other Democrats, and you already have Joe Manchin, that is a Democrat, saying, oh, yeah, we should definitely do that. Work with Republicans. Oh, yes. I'm worried that other Democrats, and enough of them, will accede to their demands. That is very concerning. And look, it wouldn't be unprecedented for Democrats to also go along with Republican attempts to cut Social Security. Simpson Bowles happened under the Obama administration, and it was endorsed by President Obama. So let's be fair. Let's point out facts. The Obama administration tried to cut Social Security. And by the way, the Obama-Biden administration. That said, I'm hoping that Joe Biden has learned from that. Has learned from that. So far, again, they haven't agreed to their demands. I'm hoping that he continues to see the right wing's bluff. Because again, it's not going to happen. And says, no, we all know that this is a game. You're going to lose out. So let's just pass a clean debt limit already.